Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been around here before, my name is Mary and I like to sew things. In today's sewing tutorial, I want to show you how to create this cute summer set. For you who may have been following me for a while, you may have seen my other series of fabric destashing marathon, and let's say that this can be the 6th video of my summer fabric destashing marathon, because I have found this beautiful cotton embroidery and glaze in my stash. As I was planning my vacay to Greece, I thought, let's put this fabric to a good use and create some cute summer outfits with it. By the time I will finishing editing this and posting, it may be fall already. As I'm filming this, it's the last days of August, but you know what? I'll post it anyway. For those of you who may plan an exotic vacay in the middle of fall or winter and you'll need some inspiration to make some cute summer outfits, and this can be an inspiration for you. I will show you how to make the pattern and how to sew it. So less talking and more doing. So let's jump straight into this sewing video. Let's start first with the pattern for the skirt. So grab your measuring tape. You'll need to find two measurements. First, decide on the total length of your skirt. So put your measuring tape at your waist and decide how long your skirt will be. Second, you'll need to decide the length of the shirring panels. So put your measuring tape again at your waist and decide how long you want this to be. I decided that I want mine to be around here, which will be about 18 centimeters. And now you need to measure this you'll need to measure this full circumference. So put your measuring tape. And for me it's about 84. You already found the length for the top panel, and the width, it will be your full circumference that you just measured. We will be shearing these panels, so they will shrink about 50%. For the bottom panels, you will have to make the difference between the total length of the skirt and the length of the top panel, and this will give you the length for the bottom panel. And regarding the width, take your measurement from the top panel, multiply with 1.5 or 2, depending on how you want it to be more or less gathered, and you'll have also the width for this. Because I will be using this finished edge of my fabric for the hem allowance and also to put it at the waistline, I won't be adding seam allowance. So if you don't have this kind of fabric and you have to sew and attach a waistline or make the hem, you'll have to take in consideration that you'll have to also add seam allowance for this. Also, because my fabric is see-through, I will cut also some lining panels, but the top lining will be the same as my top skirt panels, and the lining for the bottom, I will make it shorter, of course, depending on how much coverage I want to have, and the width of the lining panel will be the same as the width of my top panel. And that's the panel for the skirt. So now let's cut the fabric and I will come back with the next steps. Let's make the rows for the shirring panel. And because I am using this top finished edge of the fabric as my top edge, I don't need to finish this. But if you need to finish it, you'll have to place your lining and your fabric right sides together, and you'll have to stitch them at the top. In my case, I will put my lining right on my edge here, so I will need to finish my top of the lining. So I will quickly serge this and finish it. And now, so I've finished my raw edge of the lining, and I quickly made the top stitch so I can have my main fabric and my lining in place. And what I will do is that I will measure 1 centimeter from this edge, and I will mark on my fabric using a heat erasable pen, and from this marking I will also I'll create my second row at 1 centimeter, and then my other row, and I will go on making my rows at 1 centimeter distance. I have already filmed a sewing tutorial for another dress of how to make shearings. I will link the video, I will put the video here so you can watch it, and I will make my shearing rows and I will come back with the next steps. Finish shearing my 2 panels and here's how they look. Now let's give them a good press. So I've placed my panels right sides together and I've pinned them in place. And what I want to do is to take a few centimeters from my waistline, so it won't be that loose to the waist. And I've measured on myself and decide how much I want to take in. So I decided I want to take in about 3 centimeters. So I will stitch on my sides and afterwards cut it. So now let's cut this, leaving 1 centimeter seam allowance. And now let's finish these edges with the serger or a zigzag stitch. As this is quite bulky to finish them this way, I will finish each edge individually. Now place the bottom panels right sides together and you'll have to stitch your edges. Also finish the row edges with the serger or zigzag stitch. And I'm doing the same also for my lining panels. So I'm placing them right sides and I'm stitching the side seams. And now let's make a loose stitch at this top so we can gather this. So now take your lining and you'll have to gather this top so it can match the lining panel. Have your lining on the right side, the main fabric on the right side. Insert this into your skirt, so this lining will be the right side and the wrong side of the main fabric, and place them and arrange the side seams and start gathering this so it can match the lining. After you finish pinning, stitch quickly this in place so it can hold your lining and the skirt. So I will quickly stitch this and come back. So I've quickly stitched this in place, my lining, and now we'll have to match this up. So what you want to do is to find your middle of these panels. And now find the middle of this top panel. So now we have to place them right sides. So we have to place them right side. So I will put this in this. So I will put this panel inside this panel. And now I will match up my side seams. and the middles that I've marked. And now you have to stitch this in place while stretching this so it can match the bottom. So you'll have to stretch and stitch and stretch and stitch. So let's go. All done. So now let's also finish the edge with the serger. And the final step to do is to also finish the bottom of the lining, and the skirt is done. And now let's make the top part, and I'll show you how to make the pattern, but you'll need a few measurements first. So grab your measuring tape, and you'll have to measure below your bust your full circumference, and for me is 73, and I will divide this 73 to 4. It will be 19 centimeters. And now you need to decide the length of the top. So you'll need to measure on yourself this length. I will put my measuring tape at the side and decide how long I want it to be. Let's say that I want to reach like about here. And this will be approximately 15 centimeters. So you will have to decide how long you want your panel to be. And now let me show you how to draft the pattern. So on my piece of paper I will put my measurements. So I decided that I want mine to be 16 centimeters in length. So these 16 centimeters I will multiply with 1.5, so we can create a gathering effect for the front. So for me it will be 24 centimeters. And this will be gathered to 16 centimeters. So this will be gathered to 16 centimeters. And now find your middle of the line. And from this middle point you'll have to measure your under bust circumference divided by 4, which for me it was 19 centimeters. And I will draw my line at the top, at the bottom, the same measurement of 19 centimeters. You'll have to draw the shape of the front tie. On my middle I will measure 52 centimeters. And you'll have to unite these points with this point. And I'm using my curve line here, so I can draw my shape. So you'll have to draw in the shape that you want. And now we'll have to also add 1 centimeter seam allowance to this side and to this side. So now we'll cut this and fold it on your middle line. And now simply cut on your line. And this will be your front, and you'll have to cut 2 on the main fabric and cut 2 on the lining. And now let's create the back panel. The length of the panel will be my 16 centimeters. And now we'll have to take our under bust full circumference, which for me was 19 divided by 4, 73 divided by 4 was 19. and this will be 19 centimeters. And now you need to add seam allowance to this side, and to this side. This side will be placed on fold. So here we'll place on fold fabric. And we'll have to add 1 centimeter seam allowance to the other 3 sides. So this will be the back. Cut 1 on the main fabric on fold and cut 1 on lining on fold. Yeah, so this is the back, this is the front. You also need to cut some straps if you want to put straps to the top, but I will cut them on the fabric directly. And yeah, so let's cut this on the fabric and come back with the next steps. So I finished cutting my panels. This is the back with the lining and the front's main fabric and the lining, and these are my 4 straps. These are 5 centimeters in width. This was my fabric, remaining fabric, so I cut straps of 55 centimeters. And I hope it will be enough to make a knot. And now you'll have to fold your straps. And now you have to decide how thick you want your straps to be. Maybe you want them to be thinner or thicker. You can either stitch right on your raw edge and have thicker ones, or maybe you can stitch away with 0.5 or 1 centimeter away from the fold edge and cut away the seam allowance so you can have thin straps. You can now decide how you want them to be. So I've stitched my all 4 straps, and now I will cut my seam allowance. And now I will turn them on the right side. All done, and now let's press them. Now you have to stitch the lining and the main fabric together, so place them right sides. And you also have to decide where to place your straps. So I've measured on myself. You'll have to put the strap on the right side between the main fabric and the lining, and you'll have to stitch it all together. So now stitch this in place all the way around, leaving this edge open so we can turn it on the right side, and do the same for the other panel, also placing the strap there. And now take your back panels and again place them right sides together with the lining, and you'll have to also place your straps. I'm measuring around 12 centimeters from this edge, and put your lining on top. And now you'll need to stitch at the top, stitching also the straps, and stitch also at the bottom from here to here. Leave this open, stitch from here to here. This will help us stitching the front panels later. You'll see why. And now let's trim a little bit the corners. And now let's turn it on the right side. And let's press. Now we'll have to match the front to the back side, so you can either gather this or you can make pleats on it. Like so, and quickly stitch these pleats in place. You can go for the pleats, you can even gather it depending on how you want this to look. I will go for the pleats and I will do the same on my other front. And now take your back panel, which is on the wrong side, and insert your front panel between the main fabric and the lining. And you want to make sure that the main fabric is facing the main fabric from the back and that the strap is up. So mine will go like so. And now you have to arrange these seams together. And pin them in place. And stitch it in place. And this is how it should look. And on the wrong side. And now let's also insert the other side. So after trying this on, I decided that I need to take in a little bit from the sides, so it won't be too loose at the back, like so. So I will decide that I will take in a little bit from the side. So I've put here a pin and I will stitch this and cut this part. And I've also adjusted my straps on the front because I have put them a little too much on the front, so I adjusted my strap, so I need to fix this. And this is the top. Fold the main fabric and the lining and pin them in place. And now stitch close to this edge. And also the top is done, and now let me show you the result. And that's the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoy watching it and that I was able to teach you something new today. If you do plan to make this set, please tag me on Instagram using Mary the Dressmaker. I'm always so happy to see photos from you. I'm also selling some of my patterns, so make sure to check out the link in the description box down below. And thank you so much if you choose to support my small shop and purchase my patterns. If you don't want to miss any of my sewing videos, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so we can be sewing friends together. If there were some missing information or unclear steps in this sewing video, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Message me on Instagram, email me. I will happily answer all of your questions. Thank you for hanging out with me today and happy sewing!